Allan W. Eckert's The Frontiersmen, a narrative, tells the story of the early American frontier through a blend of historical accuracy and novelistic flair. Set during the late 18th century, it captures the lives of men and women struggling to survive in a harsh and untamed wilderness. The central figures, most notably Simon Kenton and Tecumseh, serve as representations of two opposing worlds, the encroaching settlers and the indigenous peoples of the Ohio Valley. Eckert's portrayal of Simon Kenton is one of strength and resilience. Kenton, a legendary frontiersman, is depicted as a figure driven by a desire for adventure and survival. From his early days as a fugitive fleeing a crime he did not commit, to his time spent wandering the wilderness, Kenton embodies the rugged, self-reliant spirit of the American frontier. His adaptability and skills, whether as a hunter, scout, or soldier, reflect the qualities necessary to thrive in such a hostile environment. Kenton's interactions with Native Americans are complex, illustrating both respect and conflict. He forms deep connections with certain tribes, even as he becomes embroiled in the violence between settlers and natives. Tecumseh, the Shawnee leader, stands in contrast to Kenton but is equally compelling. Eckert presents Tecumseh as a visionary and a warrior, a man driven by a profound love for his people and their way of life. Tecumseh's mission to unite the various Native American tribes against the growing tide of settlers is portrayed with a sense of tragic inevitability. His efforts to forge a pan-Indian alliance against the United States underscore the desperation of indigenous peoples facing the loss of their lands and culture. Tecumseh's charisma, intelligence, and leadership set him apart as a heroic, if ultimately doomed, figure in the narrative. One of the most striking aspects of the book is its exploration of the clash between two civilizations. Eckert does not shy away from depicting the brutality of frontier life. The violence between settlers and Native Americans is graphic and unrelenting, with massacres, scalpings, and torture on both sides. The narrative emphasizes the mutual incomprehension and mistrust that fuel this conflict. The settlers, driven by a belief in their right to expand and tame the wilderness, see the indigenous peoples as obstacles to progress. Meanwhile, the Native Americans view the settlers as invaders threatening their very existence. This tension forms the heart of the narrative, with neither side emerging as wholly virtuous or villainous. Eckert's ability to weave historical detail into his storytelling adds a layer of authenticity to the narrative. His extensive research is evident in the vivid descriptions of the landscape, the customs of various Native American tribes, and the military campaigns that shaped the frontier. This meticulous attention to detail grounds the story in real events while allowing for a narrative flow that keeps readers engaged. The book often reads like an epic, with larger-than-life characters and dramatic, sweeping events. The theme of survival is central to the book, not just for individuals like Kenton and Tecumseh, but for entire cultures. The frontier is depicted as a place of constant danger, where death lurks at every turn, whether from nature, disease, or violence. For the settlers, survival means pushing ever further west, carving out homes and communities in the wilderness. For the Native Americans, survival means resisting this encroachment, fighting to preserve their lands and way of life. The tension between these two visions of survival drives much of the action in the narrative. Ultimately, The Frontiersmen, a narrative, is a story of transformation, of individuals, of cultures, and of the land itself. The frontier is a place where people are tested, where civilizations clash and reshape one another. Eckert's sympathetic portrayal of both settlers and Native Americans allows readers to see the complexity of these encounters. Kenton and Tecumseh, despite being on opposite sides of the conflict, are united by their courage, determination, and the deep connection they share with the land. In the end, the book is a meditation on the price of progress and the inevitable losses that come with the march of history.